ready to take the first step to managing your mind today? I'm going to teach you how to finally take control of your own mind. We're going to get to the root of a problem that many of us are familiar with. Why did this happen to me? Why do things like this always happen to me? I'm so unlucky. Maybe what you experience as something bad is actually the greatest doorway to transformation in your life. In this video, we're starting to cover Dr. Demartini's book, The Breakthrough Experience. The book consists of 10 chapters in total, and we'll be discussing one chapter each week. By the time these 10 chapters are finished, you'll be a completely different person. I guarantee it. In this episode, I'll be talking about the first chapter of The Breakthrough Experience, which is the essence of life. And not just with information, but with great wisdom, shaped by real-life experiences. Today I'll share these 3 fundamental insights with you. First, everything you experience in life is meant to create balance. Second, it doesn't matter whether something seems good or bad. Every event carries a lesson. Third, true awareness begins when you see these messages and find balance. Yes, before we get into the details, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. This support helps me create more content. Thank you in advance. So, maybe some of you don't know him. Who is Dr. John Demartini? Today, he is one of the world's most influential personal development experts. He has guided many famous people, including Nicole Kidman, Robert De Niro, and Donald Trump. He is also known as the person behind the book, The Secret. If you haven't read The Secret, I recommend you read it. Or if you want, you can also watch the movie. He is also the author of 9 international bestsellers that have been translated into 28 languages. But once upon a time, people said he would never be able to learn. He had dyslexia. He couldn't read or write. He was a child who was cast aside in the classroom, made to stand on one foot. Then he found the solution not in books, but in the waves, and started surfing. At the age of 17, he left home for his passion for surfing. He went far away to California. The people he met on the road inspired him. He started reading again. Over the years, he drew from many sources such as psychology, economics, cosmology, and biology. He gave seminars in more than 60 countries and inspired thousands of people. He also came to Turkey twice to give seminars. And, despite ticket prices being 5 times the minimum wage, thousands of people attended these seminars as well. And this book is also inspiring thousands of people. The essence of the book, The Breakthrough Experience, conveys the following message. No matter what the external circumstances are, when you learn to manage your mind, you determine the quality of your life. In this book, Demartini addresses a different topic in each chapter. And now we begin with the first chapter. The topic of the first chapter is the essence of life. In other words, what he means is that every event in life exists for the sake of balance. Within goodness, there is also a challenge. And within every challenge, a teacher is hidden. What do I mean by this? For example, I'd like to give an example from my own life. I worked for many years in prestigious companies, in prestigious positions. Working in these positions seemed like the best thing for me. But at night, I couldn't sleep from stress, and in the mornings, getting up felt like a nightmare. In other words, I was dragging my feet to work every day. Then I realized I was living in an illusion. But this seemingly good experience actually has taught me what I did not want. And I left that job and changed careers. Instead of climbing the career ladder, I chose a job that brought me peace. And in addition to that, I am also the person filming this video right now. This was the lesson from an experience that seemed good. So if I were to give an example of an experience that seemed bad, I'd like to mention a famous person. For example, Oprah Winfrey. She was abused as a child, became pregnant at 14, and lost her baby. But she drew strength from this pain. She was on screen for a full 25 years. She became not just a host, but a healer. She became the voice of women, minorities, and those who were unheard. She was chosen by Forbes as the most influential woman in the world and continues to be a source of inspiration for millions of people today. The traumas she experienced did not destroy her. They transformed her. And she told the world, don't let your past define you. What about you? Have you ever been able to see something good in a bad experience you've had? Or have you ever seen something bad within a good event you've experienced? Has something you embraced as good ever ended up hurting you? We have a saying, there is good in every misfortune. But Demartini says that being able to see the good within every misfortune is wisdom. But being able to see that there is also something bad within every good, that is actually an even greater noni wisdom. So in your opinion, what is true freedom? When you think of feeling free, what comes to your mind? What would make you truly feel free? Or maybe you already feel free. So what is it that makes you feel this freedom? Demartini, on the other hand, defines it as follows. True freedom is not soaring with anyone's praise, nor crashing down with anyone's criticism. Life invites you to be at your center. True gratitude and a real acceptance is being able to find balance in both praise and criticism. I think the best example of this can be given with the ego. Demartini also shared a great personal example about ego. One day, after working hard and earning a high income, he was on his way home and saying to himself, what a day it was. Anyone who wants luck should just touch me. I'm not only lucky, I'm also spreading luck to everyone. Then, with his inflated ego, he enters his house and his wife says, where have you been? You were supposed to be here an hour ago. We were going to go out for dinner, she says. At first, Demartini gets upset. His ego is shattered. He says to his wife, just a moment ago I was in a great mood and you completely ruined it. Don't we all do this? Sometimes our mood is really high. Someone comes along and says something and our mood drops instantly. But why? Why do you think this happens? Demartini later realizes that this was actually a situation that balanced his ego. Thanks to his wife, he was able to balance his ego. And as a result, he could actually focus on the present moment. We can't live with our ego always high, nor can we live with our ego at rock bottom. It needs to be in balance. This is where Demartini says, when one of your emotions becomes exaggerated, someone brings it back to normal. And this is divine order, he says. Now, I want you to think about yourself for a moment. Have you ever thought that there are people in your life who balance your ego? Have you ever thought that your ego has held you back? Or have you ever considered thanking? Not only those who do good for you, but also those who challenge you. For example, when I look back at my past, I realized that the people who challenged me the most in my professional life were actually the ones who contributed the most to my growth. But at the time, I wasn't aware of it. Most of the time, I would get angry and even thought I was being treated unfairly. But now I realize that those challenging moments made me more resilient. They made me learn more and become better. Who I am today was shaped, thanks to them. I'm glad they pushed me. Yes, most of us fall into the illusion of good or bad. We're either very happy or we're depressed. But people always come into our lives who balance out these emotions. Now take a look back at your past. Haven't you experienced the same things? In fact, most of the time, we get angry at them too. Maybe when I'm really happy, they say something negative, but it actually benefits me. I always need to stay balanced. I shouldn't be too happy, nor should I be too down. This is the balance we need to find, my friends. If you fall into the illusion of being better or worse, you can never be present in the moment, and your life will never satisfy you. You constantly live in the future or in expectations, and you keep telling yourself these kinds of sentences. One day I'll show my spouse and children how much I love them, or I'll do that job when everything gets better. I'll go on that vacation when everything is sorted out, you know. I will be comfortable when I buy that house. I will go when I buy that car, but not now. Without realizing it, you are living on a non-existent someday island. Yet real life is only lived in the present moment. Don't look for opportunities in some distant future or somewhere else. Because Right now, where you are, is exactly where you're meant to be. That's why the present moment is already perfect and balanced in itself. So the first chapter tells us not only to notice the healing within pain, but also the warning within healing. True gratitude is not just thankfulness, dependent on external circumstances, but a state of inner balance, peace, and acceptance. And at the end of each chapter, Demartini suggests exercises for us. I want you to do these exercises. Not for me, of course, for yourself. If you truly want to take a step forward, this is the best place to start. It's no coincidence that you're watching this video. If you're watching this video, it means it's time to take some steps. Yes, now I'm going to share these 2 exercises with you. You can also find the exercises in the descriptions below. If you really practice these exercises, you'll clearly see the difference. 1. Remember. Recall a moment when you were humiliated or criticized. How did you feel at that moment? What did that moment teach you? 2. Give thanks. Visualize everyone who contributed to you today and say thank you to them in your mind. Yes, this was just a beginning. Next week, the second part is coming. The topic of the second part is enlightenment. This part might be the most challenging, but also the most rewarding for you. If you have difficulty doing these exercises, you can try watching this video again. Or write to me. I'll be happy to help you. The more you repeat, the clearer it will become in your mind, and this way you'll be able to reach the truth. Also, in the description section, by the way, there are words of power and wisdom that Joe Dispenza wrote for us. He included a different word of power and wisdom for each week. It is recommended that we repeat these words 3 times a day. As you repeat, you will notice the calmness in your mind. Give yourself a chance to read the messages of life. Thank you for watching me. I would be very happy if you subscribe to my channel to support me. Now, it's time to be alone with yourself. See you soon.